It's Monday, time to ask Big Daddy. Real estate expert Bryan Garrity joins us here once again this morning on San Diego Living. This morning, Bryan, before we go to this, the mail questions that we have here, you want to talk about just some of the new rules to home buying here, because the market is starting to move a little bit.
It is.
But you're going to talk about inventory a little bit here, what that means, and why it's a little different than it has been in the past, and things that you need to be aware of before you even walk out the door to go look at homes.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's start with number one here. Everybody thinks they're going to go out right now and just make a killing. They're going to go out and throw out these low-ball offers, and everybody's desperate to sell, and so they're going to go and insult a home buyer and tell them their home is worth half of what they think it's worth and expect that they're going to get a deal.
Right, even in this distressed market that's happening. So whether it be a short sale, REO, which means the bank owns it, or a traditional sale, which we love, you got to know that low-ball offers are not sticking anymore. But you have all these cash investors who are grouping together, and they're just going out in swarms and scooping up the inventory that's out there. So you need to know if you're a home buyer and you want to get the house that you've looked at, you've got to be competitive. Low ball offers aren't sticking. You may make that low ball offer thinking, let's give it a whirl to see if it's going to work.
Right.
And then you're just going to insult the seller, and maybe they won't even respond, and it'll take you totally out of the game. So if you really want a house, you need to be smart about the offer that you put in on it.
And again, work with an expert such as yourself,
Me too.
somebody that knows what the comparables are in the area. But again, the whole idea of the comparables, that's been turned on its head because of all the distressed properties that are out there.
Right. So let's say now, at this point, 4 years ago, short sales, yes, you got a deal. Fast forward 2012, banks are on their game. Short sales aren't so much of a deal. So we can use those now as, I would say, a solid comparable with a traditional sale. The bank-owned properties, those are going to, they're going to make things a little bit unbalanced. But if you stick with the traditional and the regular sales, you're going to see, go back only about 6 months. You should work with a real estate agent that really understands the area, really understands what's going on in the area. Because in some areas, like Chula Vista, short sales, they're almost becoming a thing of the past. It got hit really hard, and it's starting to turn around and come back up. So you need to work with an agent that understands the area.
Okay. The idea of getting pre-approved before you go out the door, I mean, this is a good idea whether you're buying a car or buying a house.
Come on.
Know what you can actually get a loan for.
That, and you need to take into account the things the lenders don't look at. If you have child care expenses, private school tuition, etc. Yes, maybe the bank says you can afford X amount, but you got to also look at those other expenses day to day that you have that the bank didn't look at or wasn't taking into account, so that we don't get you stuck in another problem like we've discussed.
And I think one of the reasons I would encourage folks to give somebody like you a call is to know that along with home ownership comes certain other expenses that people had not thought about. And you can have the ability to look at a property and say, did you think about all this landscaping here and what it's going to cost you to water all this? I know it's beautiful, but we're in Southern California.
Exactly.
That type of thing.
Exactly.
So again, I would suggest giving Bryan a call in that regard. Get realistic about the market. You kind of touched on that already. Really.
Get real. Get realistic. We're not in like that free-for-all. We are in a free-for-all, actually. I'm telling you, these investors that are coming up with cash, you've got to be on your game. You want to pick up a property, you need to know there are pools and pools of investors out there that the minute I turn one of my listings on, I'm not kidding you, within 15 minutes, we're getting pelted with calls, and most of them, within an hour, I'll have an offer or two. Within an hour. So people got to understand, the poor home buyer out there that's trying to get a property, you got to be on top of your game. You got to be working with somebody that understands what they're doing.
So again, that goes to the idea here of my point number 4 was expect some competition. Now, number 5, conduct property research.
Really, again, that goes to your agent. I mean, you could be diligent yourself and do it. Most properties that are listed, the selling agent should have ordered a title report. It will tell you if there's any nonsense that is attached to the property, any liens, if it's going into foreclosure, whatever it is, all the bad stuff associated with the property should be able to be dug up on a title report. And as a buyer, you want to be able to see that so you know exactly what's going on.
All right, I'm going to hold this question for next week then. We'll ask Big Daddy next week. And again, it's talking about some of these specialized programs that are out there for distressed homes. But I think a really good general discussion today.
Yeah, we needed to have it. We needed to have it. We got to get these people. Case Schiller just did, they're one of those people that compile empirical data, and Phoenix and San Diego are two of the markets turning around.
So folks, get in touch with an expert that knows the market, knows the circumstances here, and knows, you know, all the little wrinkles that are going on. With his legal background, Bryan's able to help you out with that as well. Bryan Garrity, always great to see you. We'll see you next week.
You'll see.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yes, happy birthday, Mom.
Mom's
I love
turning,
you,
she's
my Italian sweetheart.
88?
She's turning 80.
Oh, I didn't say that.
See, I can't go home now. I will not be able to go home tonight. Are you kidding? Thank you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there you go. Right. She loves you, though. So
Happy
okay.
birthday, Mom. For more information, go to san-diego6.com, click on San Diego Living. You'll find more information about Bryan Garrity, but nothing about his mother. I promise you. I've said too much already.